Art the Clown is back. Terrifier 3 on Gene and Roger Talk Movies.
I'm sorry.
This is your one and only spoiler warning because, of course, on our little show, we completely spoil everything as we go. So if you haven't seen it yet...
Maybe we should not do that so much.
Well...
We could talk about the movie, its general themes, but not spill it all.
Well, that's...
We can go in a different direction. Roger.
Well, okay, we'll see if that actually happens, Gene. But
Terrifier 3.
Let's get right into it. Gene,
Lord.
where are you at?
Yeah. I saw this in movie theater. You saw, I think, the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did some research on this movie, and I guess it's director Damien Lewis, or Damien Leone. See how I go, Damien Lewis. Yeah, Damien Leone, and I guess he self-finances his movies.
Yes.
And so because he self-finances these movies, he doesn't have to bow down to any corporate interests that makes him want to maybe tame it out. So he doesn't tame his movies at all, right. And his movies, if you want movies that's got lots of blood, lots of high body count, and the body counts mount in the most gruesome possible way, then this movie is for you. But if you want something that's got like even a little bit of a plot or a little bit of a story, then no, this movie's not for you. So again, if you want high body count, lots of attractive teens getting whacked. But there's old guys that get whacked in this movie, and there's this middle-aged woman who gets whacked, and and this old Santa. Yeah. So
right.
I don't know. The beauty of the horror movie genre is that it appeals to a lot of different people for different reasons. And so, again, if you like that kind of like blood splatter, gore fest, then this is the movie for you. And it's a little bit of a horror comedy, maybe a lot horror comedy. So, I mean, there was a part where in the movie theater I could hear other people laughing, and it was kind of funny. It just was kind of funny. So
they definitely play up the comedy a little bit more, or considerably more than they have done in the other two films, for sure. Yeah,
well, I haven't seen the other two, and I will never see the other two.
Well, and I do.
So it's, again, my recommendation is it's like, it depends what you like, So if you like I said.
And Gene, did you like it?
No.
Okay.
I guess because I'm not into that mindless just blood splatter and seeing intestines and seeing intestines torn out of a body and then flung around,
right.
like that,
okay.
like you're at a football game or something. Yeah. But it's a human intestine, So.
This is one of the greatest movies I've seen this year.
I knew that. I knew you would love it.
But I do appreciate you pointing out how he plays outside the studio system, right? Because Damien Leone didn't even submit this to the ratings board for a rating, so it's out on an unrated platform.
Right.
And I do want to point out that I really appreciate the theaters, because the theaters are just straight up treating it like it's an R-rated movie. And
right.
So,
as they should.
In the past, when an unrated film came out, it was like, oh, no one under 18 admitted, we're not running any TV ads, no publicity whatsoever, right. There's no movie poster up. Boy, you better have your ID and 16 parents with you to get into this movie.
Well, this movie is doing well at the box office, so it might even be Damien Leone's highest grossing movie.
By far.
And it's like, how does good horror movies build up? I remember like Blair Witch Project. There was like people were talking about it before they even saw it. Mm-hmm. And like my little kid, my 17-year-old kid, he was telling me about, like, one of his best friends heard from his sister, who heard from, her cousin, that somebody was throwing up in the movie theater. That it was so gross. The little stories like this spread, and and so it just gives the movie a little aura before you even go. And so this movie has that. So it's pretty good. And there was reference in the movie. There's a woman reading a book on a bus at the end, and the book is called The Ninth Circle, and it references one of Damien Leone's earlier movies, a 2008 movie. It's the first appearance of Art the Clown, and it's amazing to see. I saw a little clip on it. See, I took notes. I don't know why.
He has.
I don't know why I took
notes for this movie. He doesn't like.
I didn't even like this movie. I just have all these notes. But yeah, it's became apparent that for 16 years, this guy Damien Leone has really just been making the same movie with Art the Clown. So, and in 2008, it saw a preview of this Ninth Circle, and Art the Clown really looks essentially the same as the movie I just saw last Thursday. So, but who's the one going to the bank, and who's the one shooting the podcast, in a dungeon?
Right.
So go Damien Leone. He's found his franchise, and yeah, I mean, if you like that kind of stuff, then more power to you.
I love this movie just because of the overall sheer depravity of what's going on in here. This movie transcends normal boundaries of what you expect in horror. The very first scene in the movie is this brutal slaughter of an entire family, one of which is a small child.
Well, actually, the small child, she survives, right?
You do not know that.
Well, the little
I'm talking about
Sienna.
I'm talking about the brother.
Oh, the brother. Okay, the little girl. I thought you were talking about the little girl.
The brother who is horrendously murdered via axe. They don't actually show that sequence, but they show the aftermath of it, and
his body is just all over the place.
Yeah,
and the mom comes in, and yeah. It starts with a family, a typical American family,
and
just getting wiped out.
Art the Clown revels in the destruction of the human body. So it is not like a Friday the 13th movie where, Jason hits you with an axe and then, you're dead. He hits you with an axe. He removes your arm. He pulls out your
he keeps
intestines,
whacking you.
And they show it all. And the gore effects, the practical gore effects are top notch. There's a great...
Damien Leone, he does all those own effects, again, to cut costs, keep the costs within his own control.
Well, and the beauty of this film, too, is who shows up in a cameo at, kind of the midpoint?
Clint Howard.
Well, Clint Howard does.
But it's what is Clint Howard doing showing up in this thing? And then I researched it. And the guy has actually appeared in Silent Night, Deadly Night, part 5 and 6, So.
Well, Mickey Rooney was in a Silent Night, Deadly Night movie as well. Mickey Rooney.
What is he, 100 years old? What?
It was definitely towards the end of his career. But
I was like, what's Clint Howard doing in this thing? And so, but there he was. But he gets shot. He gets shot in the head.
The cameo I'm talking about is one that you apparently missed because you maybe don't even know what the guy looks like.
I don't even know what the
Tom Savini has a cameo.
I don't know who that guy is.
So Tom Savini, Gene, I'm disappointed you don't know who he is.
Sorry.
He is one of the most famous special effects artists for graphic violence. So he did the Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, the original Friday the 13th. He was back for Friday the 13th Part 4. He did The Prowler, and The Burning, and he's really great at these horrendous practical effects of human bodies being destroyed.
Well, there you go. He was giving Damien Leone tips.
He was, I think...
We're just helping him out. We're just doing it.
I think he was there because he really respected the level of quality in those practical effects. And so, yeah, I'll do a little cameo in your movie.
Yeah, there are lots of kills in this movie. Roger was talking about the family of four at the beginning, but there's a little girl that survives, and we see her later. Then there are these two demolition workers. Yeah.
No, we don't see her later.
No, that's Sienna.
No, it is not.
Are you sure?
So part of the problem that Gene is experiencing right now is...
No, I'm not experiencing a problem.
You didn't see the other two movies.
See, I think movies need to stand on their own. And so here I am not going to watch 1 and 2. And here it is. So, but there's this whole little subplot with Sienna becoming this superhero woman, and she has a sword.
Which was the second one. And
only with the sword can you kill, the Satan. And Art the Clown is really Satan. He's the devil. Mm-hmm. But he's been brought up. So... But nobody cares about that. Nobody cares about this movie. It's all about the kills. The family of four, there's demolition workers that are killed with sharp glass and liquid nitrogen. There's this great scene with a box knife. And then there's two college students they're having sex in a shower. We got to have the obligatory shower scene. But then Art the Clown, he gets them with a chainsaw. So, and rather
extremely graphic.
Yeah, they linger on that scene for a while.
They linger on the gore, and they linger on, again, the destruction of the human body. He is removing body parts. That shower sequence is one of the great scenes in horror movie history.
If you're into that stuff. Yeah, and
it
then
goes all the way.
Yeah, and then Sienna's mom and dad and brother, they're all like whacked. And so, and then there's a whole bunch of kids that get killed in a mall with a bomb. They're all dead. And then there's like loser guys in a bar. And that's where Clint Howard shows up. And so Art the Clown's in there, and they buy drinks for him, and they try to, he's just a guy, so let's just have fun. But Art the Clown's not just a regular guy.
Well, and I love how Art the Clown relishes the instruments of destruction that he creates. When he gets that, he creates this liquid nitrogen thing. It's kind of like a fire hose and all this stuff. And he's testing it out on that rat, and he's so pleased with himself when he's busting that rat. And then he uses it on the Santa Claus guy. He's just relishing taking a hammer and smashing the guy's hands.
Yeah, because what he was doing was he would freeze selected parts of his body, and then he would get a hammer and just smash. But the guy, because the parts of his body would freeze and circulation doesn't go there anymore, he would still be alive. So he was like tearing his body apart while he was still alive. So it was an interesting little thing there.
Yeah, so. And I just that's the beauty of this film, of just the utter depravity that's going on, the relishing that the Art the Clown character has in just destroying people. But then also there's a slight bit in there that I really enjoy, which is the little blonde girl who's like the podcast girl.
Yeah, the college student girl. And she has a horror movie podcast. Yeah,
it's like it's a true crime podcast, and she's trying to convince the Sienna and her brother to be on it, and really it's illustrating, and she's like, the only reason I think she's in with that boy is because that boy is the roommate of the survivor of Art the Clown. Right. All this stuff.
And everyone knows that he and Sienna are survivors. And
And so I just like how there's this great sequence where she is confronting Sienna, hey, please be on my podcast, share your story, blah, blah, blah. And Sienna's like, look, here's what this really is. Here's the trauma I'm really going through. You are treating me like just another thing to exploit for clicks and all this. And then the blonde girl's like, oh, if I could just look into the eyes of the evil and see what it really means. Right. And I love the fact that
she gets that opportunity.
She does get that opportunity. And he purposely saves one eye so that she can see into his eyes. And it is just really awesome.
Yeah, because she gets her wish.
Yeah,
right before she dies, she gets to look into the eyes of just totally.
Yeah, evil. And this movie, it's 2 hours long, and for
really, I sat there for 2 hours.
For those of you that know our podcast, I really am anti movies longer than kind of 83 minutes. Sometimes I'll give you a pass around the 95 mark. This thing is 2 hours long.
It's too long. They could have cut some parts out.
No, they couldn't. It was perfect. Perfect how they did it, because they're jumping back and forth in time at the beginning a little bit, and then they're just it's edited so well, in my opinion, as far as, okay, maybe this scene's running a little long. Nope, we're doing another thing right now, and now here's another set piece of extreme graphic violence or some sort of other depravity going on. It's beautiful.
No, it's not beautiful. Look, there's no story here at all. I wish the movie had gone a little bit deeper into the whole superhero, superwoman mythology, because that was kind of cool.
That's the second one.
That's kind of cool, but it just kind of really just skirts the surface on that. But so I guess Roger's saying if you want to go there, you could watch too. I guess there's more about the supergirl, superwoman girl.
The first one, the second one, and the third one are all connected. I do give this third one a little bit of credit, because Gene is able to pick up on kind of what the overall thing is going on here without having seen the other two. But you definitely get more out of this film if you've seen the other two.
But ultimately, it's just a horror comedy slasher killer with blood and guts all over the place. And if you're kind of a person who has a maybe an easily upset stomach. Yeah, just skip the popcorn and the soda. Yeah.
I was munching away on that popcorn.
But so was I. But
yeah.
So this movie's all blood and guts and all that.
Right.
Again, like I said, if you like that kind of stuff, this movie's for you.
Yeah, definitely not an entry-level horror film for sure. You really need to be well-versed in what goes on and what can go on in horror films. This is not a, Psycho or anything like that where...
Yeah, if this movie goes to new levels, like even for a movie compare this to Saw, like the Saw movies, this is even more gory and bloody than the Saw movies, which is saying a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just love this movie. I love the independent nature of it.
Very independent. I mean, you just look at the movie and it just screams low budget. The whole thing. I mean, the sets, the lighting, everything screams low budget. But here we are. We're talking about it, and it's making millions of dollars.
It was number one in the box office.
So go Damien Leone.
Yeah.
It's got a winning formula.
Well, and I just wish more artists would take risks like this and get their vision out there, because both Gene and I talk a lot about how when studios get involved, they're like, oh, this is going to get cut, that's going to get cut, we're going to shorten this, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. This guy here's my vision, take it or leave it. That's the end of the game. I'm not submitting it to the ratings board because I don't even want
releasing it.
Yep,
here we are. And it's going to make millions and millions more, and it's going to be Terrifier 4, 5, 6.
Well, and I do have to point
7.
out that the ending is open-ended. And so
of course.
It doesn't
way
really
open-ended.
stop. Well, the other ones kind of had, here's an ending, and they do lead it into maybe here can be a sequel, but otherwise
this one is sequel.
This one is Hans frozen in carbonite by Jabba the Hutt kind of ending. Right?
Yeah, you know it's coming.
But anyway.
I think I actually read somewhere that it's in production already.
It would not surprise me because this one was a unexpected number one at the box office. So, and
it's good timing too, because what other movies are out there right now? Latter part of October 2024. There's not really a whole lot out.
Smile 2's out right now.
Smile 2, yeah. And that's, again, doing well.
Mm-hmm. But
which we should review. I didn't really like Smile 1, because I just didn't like that there was a creature in control, and the creature looked like Marilyn Manson to me. It's like, what the heck?
Well, Marilyn Manson
why go there? It's not scary.
But Gene, you're basically saying don't go see Terrifier 3.
Well, again, I think I said, are you listening? I'm qualifying. It was like, if you like that kind of stuff, go watch it. You'll like it. But if you're not into that kind of stuff, then stay away.
Okay.
Yeah,
you are not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan. Because there's not really anything there, because once you've seen like one graphic kill, I mean, where do you go from there?
Oh, well, you go to the shower scene where there's a horrendous chainsaw massacre going on is where you go.
I guess you just have to get creative with your kills. It was a little creative where they hammered there's a plexiglass tube into the Sienna's mop, and they put a rat in there. And they put a flaming torch to the tail of the rat.
Because the rat's trying to get out.
The rat doesn't want to go in there. And then you put a flaming torch to the tail of the rat, and the rat just goes. Yeah. And then they kill the mom by cutting open her throat. But when they cut open her throat, what's right there? Oh, there's a rat right there. So she suffocated because there was a rat in her throat.
So this is the depravity we're talking about.
Yeah, that's pretty depraved. Yes.
Yeah, and I Gene is right. If you like this kind of thing, go see it. But this is one of the great movies of this kind of thing. So definitely check it out if you want to.
Yeah, in this genre, it stands out.
What are we doing next week?
You don't want to see Smile 2.
It's so hard for me to go to the theater right now to see movies.
How hard can it be?
Extremely hard. There. Yeah, extremely hard. I'm very busy.
All right, we'll watch something.
Well, one movie that I noticed was kind of suddenly appearing again after having been dormant for a long time is Michael Mann's 1983, I think it is, movie The Keep. Have you seen that?
The Keep. Was that
the Nazis?
The Nazis where there's a castle, but the castle is built not to keep things out, but to keep a thing in.
Yes.
Which is a great idea for a horror movie. Yeah.
So,
but there are two versions of that. There's a Burt Lancaster version.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Are you serious? And there's a lot of gunplay. That's like a war movie. Yeah, there's a lot of shooting and blasting.
This is not what I'm talking about.
Oh.
This is the Michael Mann 1983 thing.
What do you mean it's getting a lot of attention? What is
no, I'm not saying getting a lot of attention. This movie is super hard to run across because Michael Mann. So there's his original version, which the studio completely butchered down to like 93 minutes. So it's a movie that doesn't necessarily make a lot of narrative sense all the time because scenes are just gone. And so the movie kind of disappeared. It only got it was never even released on DVD. It has a Laserdisc release.
Yeah.
And then for decades, nothing happened with that movie. You couldn't even find it. And then there was a DVD release in Australia in, I think, 2017. And then I'm just scrolling through YouTube movies.
Yeah.
There it is. And so I started watching it. And
so
I'm
it's
like,
on YouTube.
Well, but
But the highly redacted version's on YouTube.
You're right. There is no Michael Mann director's cut out there.
Yeah, but then why watch it?
It's an interesting little film. But whatever. We just, we always have difficulty figuring out what we're going to do each week. I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility, just because it is kind of this lost gem, maybe. It's interesting story. And Michael Mann, of course, was he's very creative in how he shoots scenes. Tangerine Dream has a soundtrack running over the whole thing, which is interesting, but weird,
Michael Mann's
but also
good.
Very 80s.
He made, The Thief.
Yeah,
I
Thief
think
is good.
Heat was his too, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so maybe look at that. We could also continue down the road of weird movies with in a violent nature, which is what do these slasher killers do when they're not actively killing people? It's pretty amazing.
We'll figure something out. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, check out Terrifier 3 at the theater,
3.
and we will catch you next time.
All right.
Bye.